Tips with Tim.
Welcome to Tips with Tim, the show where I, Tim, share drawing tips with you, mostly about storyboarding, but not always. Let's discuss screen direction, more precisely, consistent screen direction. And by that, I mean keeping the movement and motion consistent from one scene to the next, from one shot to the next. For instance, let's say you have a character throwing a frisbee to someone else, and they throw the frisbee screen right. When you cut to the person catching it, the frisbee should still be coming from the right, and they'll be catching it over here, correct? It's simple enough. This is how you keep the audience oriented. If the frisbee came from the other direction, it would be terribly confusing. But on a larger scale, let's say you have a kid getting on a school bus, right? And the bus goes toward screen left. And now when you cut to the school, the bus should still be entering from the right, going screen left. That way, the audience knows if the bus is going toward home or toward school simply because you established that pattern. When I started on The Lion King, I was just an in-betweener. I wasn't in story or layout or anything like that, but I was paying attention to all the aspects of filmmaking and storytelling. And when we watched an early version of the story reel, most of it was still in storyboards, very little bit was in animation. And there was a note that when young Simba was chased away from the Pride Lands, he was headed screen left. And then when he returned at the end of Act 2, he also ran screen left back to the Pride Lands. Now, luckily, things were early enough, they could correct that without too much trouble. And of course, you know in the final film, when the hyenas chase him away at the end of Act 1, he's going screen right. And then when he returns, it's screen left as it should be. This cements locations in the audience's mind so that later, when he crosses the desert again, they know that he's going home. When I moved into the storyboard department on Mulan, one of my early assignments was to storyboard the song A Girl Worth Fighting For. Now, it had already been storyboarded 2 or 3 times by other artists, but we had recently had a lyric rewrite, so it was my turn to take a stab at it. And one of the main notes I was given was to always make sure the army was marching from screen left to screen right. And if you notice, all throughout the film, Mulan and the army are always moving from left to right. From the moment she takes a horse and leaves home, she's moving right. When she enters camp, she's moving right. When the army marches off, they're moving right. All the way until they get to the imperial city and march into the palace, they're moving screen right. By contrast, when we first see Shan Yu and the Han army, they're moving screen left. So when we cut back and forth, we know that they're headed to impact when they meet in the mountains. This is a stylistic choice when you carry screen direction throughout an entire film. Not all films pay attention to it, but for my money, the better ones do, especially traveling films like Dorothy going to the Emerald City, always traveling the same direction, Finding Nemo, Lawrence of Arabia. One of the best examples of this is Lord of the Rings. Throughout 9 hours of film, from the moment Frodo and Sam leave the Shire to the moment they walk out over the fires of Mount Doom, they're headed to screen right. Now, occasionally, yeah, they get lost, they get sidetracked, and they move around in other directions, but we know when they're headed right, they're on the right track to drop the ring into the fire. It's consistent from beginning all the way to the end. So, next time you watch a film, pay attention to this. See if the filmmakers are doing a good job at it. As always, like, subscribe, share, etc. And if you want my entire storyboarding for TV course, head over to creatureartteacher.com. Keep drawing, and I hope you join me next time.
Tips with Tim.